What's going on, guys? Welcome to the HSR. Today we're gonna mow. We're gonna do that right now. We're gonna spray some weeds, we're gonna go check the cows, and then we're gonna work on this brooder box. And I'm gonna call it a brooder box even though I don't know what you'd call it. I'm just using old material, and I'll kind of just tell you guys kind of our plan. So next year, this winter I guess I want to make a chicken tractor. We want to be able to have some chickens where we can raise in that chicken tractor and be able to rotate them around in the pasture. But the one bad thing is I don't want to have to spend, $30 on a chicken or $20 on a chicken that's laying already. So I think this winter we're gonna raise some of our own. Just buy some from the store for $2 a piece, and we'll just use this box for the first couple months. We're gonna makeshift it. We have some scrap wood that we've just picked up from around here and there. I don't really have the proper stuff to build it the right way, so we're just gonna rig it up to where it works. So we're gonna go mow. Let's work on this. Thing's done an hour and a half later. Next thing I want to do is get all this wire off the back of the Jeep. I'm going to take this wire to that middle pasture. In that big hole that I have all my junk in. I'm just going to throw it in there. It's just a lot of scraps that I don't think I'm going to be able to use. But it also gives me a reason to drive through this 50-acre pasture right by my house. Kind of just look at the condition of it. Like I said in the last video, this pasture's been grazed like 3 months this year. I mean 3 weeks, sorry. And it's in great shape. This is probably my best pasture, native pasture wise. There's just a lot of prairie grass in here. If you look at like the terraces, for example, just flat out lush. It looks really good. My idea is I'm probably gonna move my spring cows here for the winter. Winter-ish maybe. We're gonna kind of see what happens. So kind of my plan for the spring cows is so right now they're on that lease pasture, that 100 acres that on the east side of that pasture. We're gonna prey check them sometime in September, sometime basically this month, as of tomorrow, I think. And so I think once we preg check them, if that pasture has a little bit of grass left, we're gonna leave it. I think I want to leave it and bring them here. Let them eat this nice prairie grass down, and as soon as the Milo gets good enough to be grazed, once we put a couple creases on it over there, kick those cows for maybe December and January on that Milo, and then kick them back over here to this 50 acres starting February for when they calve. And kind of depending on the weather and everything, my idea is to move them back to that pasture they're at and leave a little bit of that grass so they can eat a little bit, and if I have to unroll some alfalfa out there, perfect. But then I can leave this pasture again untouched to kind of do the same thing next year. It's kind of hard to leave a pasture without cows on it, especially starting out ranching, because you want to use what you have. But I'm trying to think long term, and so I think that's what's going to work best. As we pull into this middle pasture here, it's slowly growing back. We got a little bit of sagebrush growing. These yearlings hit it pretty hard, but for the most part we got them off. We're not grazing this at all the rest of the year, so that should help. Anyways, we're almost to this dump pile. Get all this water. Good enough. Next thing I want to do is drive in there and look at those yearlings since we're just right here. And the main reason I want to is I have a little bit of fly spray left. I'm gonna try to spray these girls because I want to put some 2,4-D and some cornerstone in there and spray some of the weeds in front of my barn and on the entrance as we pull in, what we just did a couple days ago. Do is just pour the 2,4-D and cornerstone right into it. I'm gonna do it pretty heavy because there's quite a few places I want to get. To where I barely have to spray the spots to kill it. So I might be wasting a little bit of money with the actual cornerstone and 2,4-D, but it's gonna save me some time and I'll be able to keep it and do it again probably the middle of the week is my idea. All right, we just sprayed from the chicken coop, in front of the barn, over there by the corn, even back there where my bottle calves are gonna be at. So we'll see if it works or not. So my plan over here is to spray the side of the hill, maybe towards the bottom of it, and then a little bit on top here, on the top edge where I had to do all the weed eating at. Just like that, we are empty. Kind of what I'm looking at is, so my uncle had about 2 head that when he preg checked, he wasn't for sure if they were pregnant or not, or if they were open. He just said for some reason it was hard for him to tell. And so what I'm looking for over here is any bagging up, you know, anything that looks like maybe they are pregnant, because there might be 2 or 3 head where they are. And if that's the case, perfect. If not, you know, that's fine too. They should be pregnant now after we had the bull in all winter. Look at all these flies. Gosh dang, it's terrible. All right, I just pushed them out of the trees so I can get a nice look at them out in the open. And then we can get a good head count as well. Looks like all the cows that don't have a calf on them are over here. Except that one Hereford, and then cows that do have calves on them are up over the hill. But yeah, let's just take a look at these girls, get a good head count on them. Look at the lush grass in here. One of these bottoms. It's pretty good stuff right there. There's the old Hereford. Gosh, look how fat she is. Just, you can tell she's getting some good grass in her. Here's Scarlett's little bull calf. Steer calf. There's 76 right there. She's the one that had a bad foot. Lost quite a bit of weight, but she had one of the best calves. She milked outrageously. And so we're gonna try to keep her if, an old Scarlett there. Now what I was saying though is she milks absolutely outrageous. She has a bag from out of this world. All right, this is 8 feet, but I want to measure it. make sure. Yep, a little over 8. So what I want to do is get a mark on both sides of this, and we're going to cut it in half. Okay guys, Willa just joined me. She just woke up, but this is my plan for the bottom. What I'm gonna do is drill these corners together to get it solid. We'll put a piece of that plywood on top of it, and then we'll start putting up the sides. The whole base done. This scrap piece of wood, they didn't cut it straight when they were doing it on my roof, but my wood's also not very straight, so who knows who's at fault. But we're gonna try to make it to where it fits just right. There's gonna be a little bit of a gap on one side, which is fine. And then we're just gonna go ahead and screw it in, and then we'll flip it over. That should work right there. Okay, so I changed my mind. I'm gonna pull the screws out of this and just move this over a little bit and do the same thing on that side so I can screw in the sides a little bit. Okay, so it's done. We could screw the whole bottom in. Yes, it's a little janky. I don't care. I don't care if it looks perfect. You want to use that one? You want to use that one? Yes or no? Yes. But now we're going to take these two that are even, cut them in half, and we'll put those in my corners, and then we'll put this sheetrock, not sheetrock, whatever it's called, plywood, up a little bit so it's a little bit raised. As you can tell, we are pretty dang close, which, fine by me. Let's get those in. Okay, so far we got this. That's just gonna kind of hold it up, make it a little more sturdy. I left gaps on the short side to put that plywood flush with this side, then I can screw it into this. Along this back side, it'll be flush, even with this, and then same on this side. I left both sides to make it flush. So, some of you may have built it different. This is how I'm doing it. I don't know if I'll put a lid on it or anything like that. What I might do is just put top of it, half of the top, or a quarter of the top, completely that plywood, and the rest some wire mesh or something, and just flip it back and forth. But I didn't want to spend any money on this because, as you know, there's no reason to have chickens unless you're gonna try to do it the cheapest way possible. So we're using scraps. Some of these screws are even scrap screws. So I think we're gonna call it quits there for today. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.